Hello and welcome to Coffee with Business Standard. The guest we have with us today, about whom Salman Rushdie once wrote, he is the most original and unexpected Indian writer. And now he is the literary director of the JCB Prize, one of the most lucrative prizes for Indian writers, Rana Dasgupta. Welcome to Coffee with Business Standard.
Thank you for having me.
So what does a literary director of a prize do? Because you're not obviously the jury, because there's a jury that you have.
Yes, one of my principal jobs each year is to appoint the jury. So that is a very important choice because those 5 people will, of course, determine the outcome of this prize each time. And what we try to do with the prize is to find 5 different people from very different regions of India, different backgrounds, different ages, different languages, different professions, who bring a lot of different experiences to that process of judging. But I think the literary director's job, of course, goes far beyond that. I mean, a prize, the secret of a prize is really in its DNA, it's in its rules. That's what makes a prize different from other prizes, and that's what gives it a sense of purpose and drive. So for instance, just to give you one example, it's very important to the prize and to me personally that we promote translation.
Right.
And how do you do that? Well, one of the ways we found is to force publishers to enter translations. So they have a quota of 4. 2 of those are reserved for translations. If they don't have any translations, they forfeit half their quota. And with those kinds of means, we try to catalyze publishing. We try to force them to, or reward them for translation, and thereby kind of move the market in a way that we think is good for everybody.
Right. Well, last year the winner was itself a translation.
That's right.
And this year also on the shortlist we have at least 2 translations.
Yeah.
One is Perumal Murugan's novel, of course, and the other is Monoranjan Bepari's novel.
Yeah.
So, and as you said, promoting translation is a conscious decision. And translators are usually given the short end of the stick in literary prizes.
Yes, indeed.
So, anything else that you're doing? Because I think there was some sort of a disagreement last year with some of the translators complaining that the prize was not doing enough. So, have you all taken any steps to do more for translations?
Well, I think that first of all, the prize for the winner is, as you said in your introduction, the most significant prize for Indian writing that we have. But the prize for the translator is also. So if the winning prize is 25 lakhs, if the novel is translated, the translator gets an additional 10 lakhs. And I'm upset to hear that the translators were upset because we make sure that their reputations are well publicized and everything too. But there are issues. There are issues because translation is an undervalued activity in the country. There's currently, I would say, insufficient money in it. There's insufficient reward and celebration of the work that translators do. So we are after this prize, we are about to roll out a set of new initiatives to support translation in this country. As you would be aware, in a country with 22 official languages plus English, no individual can read Indian literature.
Exactly.
Only through the work of translations can we ever see this thing called Indian literature. Otherwise, it remains an abstraction. So, translators are the kind of infrastructure of Indian literature. Without them, we don't have it. So we are trying to, by we I mean the JCB Literature Foundation, which runs the prize but also runs other literary initiatives to promote the art of literature in India. We are rolling out new initiatives to hold translator conferences, mentorships, residencies, and to have various kinds of seals of quality of translations, so that translators feel that they have a career path and a sense of recognition.
Right. That's quite wonderful. Let's move on to some other things now. So this book that you're finishing now, or it's still a long way to go?
I'm working on it.
Well, so you say that it's a big book and that's why it's taken you such a long time. but you have also been organizing seminars, and you have been teaching,
I've been a bit busy. Yes.
and you have been at the helm of a major prize. So how much of this public activity as a literary figure, how much of it does it distract from your writing, or does it distract at all?
Oh, it's fatal. So it's difficult to balance all these things. I don't teach at the moment. I've given that up because I just can't sustain all these things. The prize is something that I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it is, to some extent, I wouldn't say it's incumbent on artists, but I think artists have to think about the context in which their art is made, the context which makes it possible for themselves and other people, and they should do things to nurture that context. These may be political things, so many writers organize around to protect the rights of other writers to write in whatever countries they are. They rally around writers who are imprisoned and things like that.
Right.
It's not because it's in their own interest or whatever, but because there is a sense of shared project. I feel that with the JCB Prize, that there is insufficient attention to literary fiction in this country. So there is some amazing writing going on. It's a very exciting moment in, I think, a very significant moment, transition going on right now in what is being published by the big and small publishers in this country. And I think that for various reasons there's not enough attention. There's very little media space covering this. There is, and there's rather little money in it because the public doesn't even know about it very much. And I think that prizes are an important part of that infrastructure, that ecosystem. You know, to have a healthy literary environment, you need lots of things, some of which are way outside my control. You need a families that teach reading. You need universities and schools that create a culture of reading. You need things that have happened since readers were 0 years old.
Right.
And you need great bookshops. You need columns in newspapers and things on TV about books. You need all that stuff. But one thing all of that stuff takes a lot of time and huge amounts of money. It's about changing the entire civilization. But one thing that's relatively cheap and easy to do and has a massive effect is creating a great literary prize. A great literary prize, out of the hundreds of novels that are published in a year, tells the public, these 5 novels are the ones that you should be thinking of. These are the 5 writers you should be considering as household names, such as you would consider cricket players or film stars. In your country, these are the 5 people that every year that are really thinking deeply about this society and producing great literature about it. And as I say, a prize is an expensive enterprise, and we have wonderful funders who supply all that possibility for us. But in the broad scheme of things, it can have a massive impact for quite easily. And so I feel that it's an important thing to devote my time to, despite the fact that when I'm sitting here talking to you, my book is not getting written.
Right. Well, so then, since we have taken up a lot of your time, I'll come to my last question. My sources tell me that one of the things that you all were thinking of when you were starting the prize is to select classics, books that will be read 25, 30 years from now with as much enthusiasm as a new book is read. How do you think this can be achieved? Like, it is, I think, nearly impossible to decide which book will be read 40 years from now.
Yeah, I wouldn't use the word classics myself, but yes, I think when I instruct the jury in their job and what they have to do, and it's a huge operation that they have to do, and usually it's 5 individuals that don't know each other. So we have these briefing sessions and we talk about the project, and we talk about the chair of the jury each year decides how he or she will manage this big process of discussion and reading. So I lay out some principles that they need to think about as they do this. And I do tell them that try and think about the novels that are enduring, that will still be of interest in the future, that future readers can look back and say, these were the books that will give us a sense of what 2019 was about, how people were thinking then, what their preoccupations were. Even if they're writing about the moon or 2,000 years in the past, these felt significant in 2019. Of course, that's not about predicting the future or knowing how future readers will behave. It's about doing what we do with all books, thinking about what these writers have done to the novel itself. Are they doing anything interesting with this form, which has been done thousands and thousands of times before? Do they have insights about people and landscapes and this country and these geographies that are original and that we haven't heard before? Are they able to imagine situations and descriptions and human interactions that just seem remarkable and that couldn't have existed without them? These are the kinds of things standards we apply to all artworks. But what we want to come out of it is great literature.
Right. And we look forward to the results of this rather elaborate process when the prize is declared later this year. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
And we look forward to having more conversations in the future.
I do too.